Turn our attention to the Diddy trial here. Well, we know today that the jury has acquitted him of the most serious charges, racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, but he was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Earlier today, a judge denied his bail, saying that Combs had a, quote, disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence. Joining us now is a PR expert by the name of Evan Nierman. Evan, thank you so much. Welcome. Let's get to some of this here. If Diddy's your client, how are you trying to work on his image moving forward after this is done?
Well, I think at the moment, there's not a whole lot to be done because sentencing is coming up. And so if we were advising him at Red Banyan, we would tell him, we're not saying anything. Let's try to stay in the good graces of the judge, et cetera. Don't do much now. Now, once he's sentenced and he understands what he's facing in terms of prison time, I think that would be the right opportunity to start rebounding from this. And for Diddy, that's going to mean downplaying the seriousness of the charges upon which he was convicted, and also emphasizing the fact that they were accusing him of being a monster and some very, very serious allegations, and he beat the rap.
So essentially, you would recommend him playing up the fact that he was found not guilty on the 3 more serious charges.
Correct. He was found guilty of 2 out of 5, the more serious ones that could have landed him behind bars for a lifetime. The prosecutors didn't prove their case. And so if I'm Diddy, I want that story to be told. I want to advocate for myself if I'm him. And so, look, I think at the end of the day, who we saw portrayed in the media was more of a monster than a man. And the challenge facing Sean Combs is how to convince at least a critical mass of the public that he is a man and not a monster.
Now, one of the things that the general public, can't erase is that video of him assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie at that hotel that so many of us saw. Would you recommend, if he was your client, maybe him participating in any domestic violence, nonprofits, or trying to give back in any of those spaces?
Well, look, I think you always run the risk anytime you try to lean too heavily into correcting the wrong of people saying you're doing it for PR purposes or it's disingenuous. It's probably a little too direct. I don't know that I would advise that. I think it's a terrible video. The optics are bad. You can't erase that, which was seared into the minds of people and their memories. I think other images showing him doing good deeds, spending time with his family members were there with him in the courtroom. Those are the kinds of images that you need to counterbalance the images that we've seen in the past. But I wouldn't lean too heavily into, this domestic violence issue. In fact, I'd want to move past domestic violence as fast as you can.
And although he was denied bail here today, he still has to go back for sentencing in October. In that time span, would you be working with the family as well to try to prepare them for what that can look like when he is eventually sentenced?
I would advise so. And I think the family has been a part of the strategy in terms of the optics of his kids being there to support him in court, to create this image that he's a family man, not the monster that the prosecutors were trying to portray. And so I think the family has been involved up to this point, and I would expect that they will continue to be involved moving forward as Diddy looks to ultimately put this behind him and try to spend the future not behind bars, but as a free man.
All right, Evan, thank you so much for a look at that, for your PR agency and your expertise. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course.